played the game, and we've managed to beat the first level. We've played the Quick Descent, which is a mode on which you choose at the beginning of the game. You have campaign mode and quick descent mode and descent mode. So we are trying to go and do another quick descent. We have additional spare time. We don't want to go to the whole thing at once. We go through quick descent of level 2. How to prepare? Very simple. We can either leave the tokens that we have and put those that we have in the same place and just scramble them around, which is the fastest, or just take them, just throw them into your hands and take them out each and just put them again into the spaces. So let's clear out the combat zone and let's prepare the level 2. So as per rule here, once the boss has been defeated, set the blight tracker to 0, which we do right now, 0, and read the tokens to the map. So we are taking tokens, adding them here. So instead of gathering all of them, we can just put them here, scramble them around, right, and then just put them into their respective places. See, I'm left with 2, so I'm just putting them aside. Cool. Okay. I'm giving my starting defense, moving it back to starting point, which is 3 for me. And now I'm basically ready to play another turn, another descent to defeat another boss. As with the first video, we started from the top. We started here too, but we also have the possibility to do it on the second side of the map, which is the nightmare, which we can. So we do the same thing as we did previously. We put the tokens on the map, put them around into various places, and our obstacles, encounters, events, and rest and everything else has been created really quickly. And you can start playing as per rules from the 3 positions here. So if I want to start from here, I put my token here. That's it, and I just move toward the end. Here I'm able to just speed it up and go to the boss as soon as possible. I have a little bit different pathways, but the rules for everything else are generally the same. But what if I want to make it a little bit more difficult? I can then reach for the cards that we've included, which are descent modifiers. Those can be taken once per game or once per level. If you want to change things around, like if I've completed quick descent on level 1 without any modifiers, I can always go and start level 2 and add one of those cards. So for example, this one, add 2 blight for each rest icon on a resolved adventure token. So each resolved rest icon would mean that I would take not 1 but additional 1 blight. You don't gain single use skills from advanced and experience track, so you don't get any of the remaining ones. So we've managed, I think, get to the 22nd, so I wouldn't get one for getting to the 31st, and so on and so forth. So that is the main difference between various jumps for the quick descent and having some modifiers and all of that. You can do similarly for the not campaign mode, but for the full descent you can each turn switch around your maps, make it more difficult, but you know, it will be really difficult then for those hardcore players. I know you are out there, so I did this specifically to suit your needs, but if someone finds the game already too difficult, they don't have to use it. It's very optional. So, I put those aside, and the other thing now. Let's set up the game for scenario. So, I'm gonna go and reset everything really quickly, just to show you how quickly you can start playing again without any interruptions. Remember, you need to remove light cards. I believe that's all of them that we had. So I'm shuffling draw deck cards. Also, you need to remove, I've seen it here, you need to remove the reward one that we got. Silly me, I forgot to remove it, and now I have to spend additional time doing it. Okay, so our draw deck is basically done. Blind cards are where they should be. I have skill cards, taking the ones that I've used, shuffling them, done. Special action cards, shuffling them, done. Events, taking the ones that we already used, putting them back, shuffling, done. Taking back the enemy. So we have 4 enemies level 2. Let's start with level 1. Shuffled, taking enemy level 2. Putting one on top of another one. Putting bosses back. Tokens on its place. So for campaign, we are only using this side because there are specific fields that might be in use. Okay. And now basically already we have reset the whole game in about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. The game is already, you know, ready to play without any issues whatsoever. So now we take out scenario cards. And how to start playing scenario, you ask? Very easily. You start from level. Whoops! I'm just trying to put it that way so it looks better on camera. You take scenario 1 card and you read it. The Awakening. You awaken into blackness, head throbbing, as you slowly rise to your feet. Questions flood your mind. Where am I? How did I get here? Who am I? You stumble over a small object, a torch. You pick it up and draw one, some innate knowledge to light it. Disturbingly, the light reveals a blue-caped body beside you. Who is this? You feel like you knew him. Down the nearest corridor, you see a distant faint light. If you're going to find answers, you best get moving. You check the surrounding area, picking up a handy pack filled with provisions and a strange tin dagger. Lastly, you decide to grab your departed companion's possessions, his cloak and a book of spells, and head towards the glow. He won't need them anymore. Now you are presented with an option. Well, not an option. With what you need to do. Options will come later on. So you have pick a starting path from the top of the map and resolve 2 adventure tokens. So I take my player token, have my starting positions, and I pick one of those to start the adventure. So I move here. I put out the current scenario here, so it's visible for me. So I always have my task when I see it, so I can easily see it. I do the event, do the encounter. This has been resolved, for example. And we have to resolve 2 adventure tokens. So one, we move, for example, here, and we do a rest as per this icon. We increase our blight and all of that. So we have currently 3 blight. And now we have the black option here. Once resolved, proceed to scenario 2. So we put this one aside and we draw scenario 2 card. Things happen here. Same rule. Move to another adventure token and resolve it. Okay, so I move, I resolve this token. Once resolved, proceed to scenario 3. We have scenario 3, but this time we have some kind of choice. If we do option 1, we go to scenario 4A. If we go with option second, I need to find the card because that's kind of been moved around a little bit. 4B. Right? So we do option A, we go to 4A. If we decide to do the other thing, we go to 4B. There are some various other ones that require, for example, fate tasks, decision making, also based on your who do you want to play as exactly, what's the idea behind your character on your kind of own playthrough and all of that. So we've tried to put as many interesting things into the game so that you are able to play the game on many different levels, in many different ways. So you have also scenario to go to a campaign mode. You have quick descent, you have full descent, you have event cards that were unlocked. Event enemies that was unlocked in the Kickstarter campaign. You have additional tokens and events that will collapse tunnel. So if the tunnel is collapsed, look at this. I'm gonna just pick one randomly, and it's gonna be the one that we need. Ha! Told you. Okay, so cave in. So in order, how this card works is that place impossible caved in tokens on A3, B6, and C5 spaces. So we look at A3 here. So this token is removed. B6. Where's B6? Here. So B6 and C5. C5 is here. So now we've created the caved-in zones, and if we are standing on it, we are moving to a nearest available token. So for example, if we stand it here and we were resolving this adventure, then if we got this card in an event, we would have skipped through the other rest, and we would only get the blight for the event that we resolved. We wouldn't get any for the we haven't resolved ourselves, unless, for example, card specifies differently. But for 99%, if you skip it, you don't get it. If you skip the event, if you have it under, well, not event but icon, but if you have it with an encounter and you retreat, you still get the blight from the encounter. Okay, so that's one of the things. Skills are pretty straightforward. Special action cards. So here, this one is getting shattered once it has been used. Other ones are straightforward. Here you toss, for this one you toss fate dice. Let's talk about corruption mechanics for event enemies. All of them has red icon in the bottom right corner, which indicates that blight track going from white to red will trigger the corruption on those enemies, making them go and become corrupted, switching them to the other side, to the red side, and they usually have more HP, attack, and such. This can happen before the encounter, so if you start the encounter being on the red side of the blight track, but it can also happen during the encounter. So when you start the encounter being on the white side of the blight track, and for some kind of reason your blight track goes past the white side, turning red, you flip the enemy to the red side and continue encountering them in the combat. Yeah, and I hope that so what happens, for example, if you run out of cards? So let's say we have this many cards, and we have a situation like that. So we've spent 2 cards. Last card lands in stored. So we shuffle those, put them to draw deck. We draw them. And you can be more or less sure that it might be your last turn, because you don't have any cards left. So make it count, because you are more than likely to be defeated then. Because if you cannot draw additional cards after usage, for example, if I have removed this card, then you lose. But if you, for example, wear down your enemy with only 1 card each turn, then you will be able to retrieve that card and reuse it. You can do that, but you, based on your health and everything going down, might not live for too long, but you still might survive. It's like being beaten but still alive and going forward. So you get enough experience, you go to rest and heal and buy cards, and you might be able to survive and push forward to get to the good loot and some events that can help you out and some side quests that you can do. I hope that was informative. Next video will be on co-op.